Welcome to this last part of the R-OCD series, and this one is about compulsion. So we talked about triggers, we talked about obsessions, and now we're talking about compulsions. All of them are core feats of the R-OCD of R-OCD. I am Pauline, and I am so happy you are here because understanding R-OCD more will help you heal. I hope. Sometimes there's so much fear that you get into this loop of, is this really R-OCD or is it just my relationship? We talked about that at the end of the last video. But usually when you find out more about R-OCD, you think, oh wow, this is very, yeah, I recognize pretty much all of this, so there's some healing to do. And I have struggled with R-OCD pretty intensely for about 6 years, and that was 9 years ago, and I've been completely R-OCD free for 9 years, so that is very much possible. It is not something you have to live with for the rest of your life. So let's dive into 10 compulsions you might have. And first of all, what is a compulsion? In the last video, we talked about obsessions, which are just themes or topics that you obsess about. Do you love them enough? Are you compatible? Is there sexual attraction? Those are the things that you think about and obsess about. Compulsions is what you then do after those thoughts to find relief. So you are trying to solve the problem. Do I love them enough? That's the obsession. And then the compulsion can be checking your feelings. So it's an action that comes after the thought, after the obsession. So the first compulsion is checking your feelings, because this is one of the most common ones in R-OCD. You want to feel a certain way because you think feeling that certain way is giving you the certainty that you are looking for, that this is the right relationship for you. And this is the right choice and that you are safe. So checking your feelings, whether you feel enough, whether it's intense enough, whether it's there for a long enough time, that is a very common compulsion. It's an action that follows the obsession. Another compulsion is Googling what something means. So when you have the obsession of, do I love them enough, or are we compatible, you start Googling, or the obsession, let's find another one. When you're not completely happy when they call you, you can Google that and see what that means. Like, does it mean I don't love my partner when I don't get really happy when they call me? That would be the compulsion to the obsession, do I love them enough? So Googling what something means is definitely a compulsion. Asking others for confirmation is also a compulsion. So when you are obsessing about whether you two look good together on a picture, asking other people for confirmation whether that's true or not, that is a compulsion. That's an action that is a way that you are trying to find relief. And then another compulsion is ruminating or analyzing. So there's this thought, there's an obsession, and then the action is that you keep thinking about it, and you lay in bed and you go and think and analyze whether this is true, whether you believe this is true, and you just keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it. Another one is history checking, which is something you could do while ruminating. So your obsession could be, do I find them funny? And then you go through all your memories and think, did we ever really have fun together, laugh together? Did I ever find him or her very funny? And you're hoping to find a memory that brings relief. So it's always, a compulsion is always doing something, an action, trying to find relief. Then there's confessions. So a compulsion mechanism is confessing everything. So when you have thought about another person or find somebody else attractive, you feel like you have to confess everything. Your partner has to know everything, because if they find this one little thing out, then they will leave you or reject you. So that can definitely turn into a compulsion also, where you just confess everything. Another compulsion is doing quizzes, like compatibility quizzes. So if the obsession is, Are we compatible in whatever way? You do quizzes to hopefully find relief and have a quiz answer, yeah, sure, you're compatible. So again, it's an action that you are doing, taking to hopefully find relief. Then another compulsion is looking up other people's experiences or on forums. So now there are a lot of forums around ROCD, and it wasn't like this when I had ROCD, so I never did this. But I know that people do that because other people go through my programs. And you look for other people's experience, whether they have this very, very, very specific thing. Because that is kind of like a confirmation that, oh, this is then also part of ROCD. And what I do know is that I get so many questions from people going through my programs, like, oh, did you have this too? Did you have this too? So it's looking for other people's experiences just to make sure that this one thought that you have isn't the proof that it is your relationship and it isn't ROCD, if that makes sense. Then the ninth one is finding opposite proof. I think it's also called neutralizing, but it means that you try to find opposite proof. So your thought could be, I don't find them funny, and then you immediately try to find opposite proof, or I don't find them attractive, and you immediately try to find opposite proof. So you try to neutralize the first thought with proof from your memories or from your current experience or situation. And then a 10th compulsion is you are comparing to other partners. So it might be that you think, oh, do I find them funny? And then the compulsion, the action you take is comparing your partner's humor or how funny you find them with other people's partners or relationships, and how their humor is. Like, do they have a lot of jokes together? And you just compare yourself to other relationships and your partner to other partners. So these are just 10 compulsions. There are so many ways to find relief, but it really is the action that you take after having the compulsion. So we had 3 videos on ROCD. The first one is situations that can trigger you. So that's the first step, right? You you go to a romantic movie, or you watch a romantic movie on Netflix. Do people still go to the cinema? And then because of that movie, they say something about being so in love, and you think, oh, am I in love enough? And that's the obsession. And then the compulsion is checking your feelings. So these 3 videos that we have are actually the 3 things that happen in sequence. You are triggered, then you have an obsession, and then you have a compulsion to try to find relief. And one of the things that helps with OCD and ROCD is to allow the uncomfortable feeling of not getting that relief, not searching that relief, because it feels so counterintuitive, but when you keep searching for that relief and keep getting it, it just feeds into the cycle of ROCD. You get triggered, you have an obsession, you have compulsion, then you have relief. And just allowing yourself to feel the uncomfortableness can really help you to not feed the obsession. This is something that you can do to manage it. I'm not sure, maybe, but not sure if this would actually heal the OCD. If you have any experience with doing just this and it healing your ROCD, please let me know in the comments below, because I would be very interested. But usually what I find is that healing in whatever way, shape, or form is needed, or at least very helpful to release ROCD, because ROCD is very much fear-driven, control-driven, and releasing the trauma that caused you to be fear-driven is one of the most thorough and maybe also the fastest ways to release this. So why I talk about ROCD now is because this channel is all about the Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style, and those 2 are very overlapping. So a lot of people that have the fearful avoidant attachment style tend to have ROCD or ROCD type symptoms. And the other way around, when you have ROCD, chances are higher that you have the fearful avoidant attachment style. And so when you heal the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style, your ROCD will also lessen. That is just almost a given, because the fear that is driving the ROCD is being healed by addressing the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style. I've seen it a million times, happening a million times. So going to the absolute roots of ROCD can really, really help in being free of this forever. So not managing it or coping with it, but really being free with it. So yeah, it could be that you're not ready to heal at that level yet, and that's completely fine. You are on your own healing journey, and never ever feel pressured to do something that you're not ready for. I just want you to know that there is a possibility that you go to the roots of this and heal it, and then you can really be cured of it, if that's how you say it. You can be free of it. I mean, I have been for 9 years, have not had one single ROCD thought or trigger or obsession or compulsion, even though I was struggling with it 24/7, and it was really debilitating and made me unable to function. So it really is possible. I just want you to know that, just so you don't think that this is something you will have to live with for the rest of your life. If you have questions, please ask them in the comments below. I am so willing to talk about this, or answer your questions, and maybe talk about this more in other videos if this is helpful to you. And as always, I am so incredibly happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one. Healed and Happy is a tailor-made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style.